Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the week 1 recap. I'm doing both videos tonight, the recap and week 2 predictions. Should have done it this weekend, but we didn't, so we're here now. Tanner and Biff have played already. I'll get into that in my next video that'll be posted, but for now, week 1 recap. Last season, I kind of separate it from the recap and the power rankings. I'm gonna do it in one video because there's no reason to make them separate videos. That's just a waste of everyone's time. So as I go through, or at the end, I can just hear everyone the way I feel. That way it's all in one video. You don't gotta watch 2 separate videos. It's all in one. So makes my life easier, makes your life easier. Getting on with it. Alright. First game of the season. Noah versus Tanner. Now this is a banger of a set. I mean, for the season to open up like this, we had essentially a 6-0 sweep with fucking weakness policy Tusk to start it off. And then we got Tanner was about to win, and he let Farigiraf set up all over him. And then Farigiraf reverse swept him game 2. And then game 3, Noah just diffed him and then just won. But yeah, I mean, this one was just super fun to watch. And it showed. I mean, it's a 2-1 with 0 differential. Just a really good set from both coaches. Tanner's mental little shot. Already making trades after the first game, even though Reggie Drago dropped 5 kills. I mean, yeah. For Noah, not gonna lie, I was kind of down the Farigiraf. But after seeing it this week, I mean, shit, bro. Might as well bring it every goddamn week. The Ting Lu was insane. Just clicking Ruination on everything was going crazy. Annihilate had a very quiet game. Granted, Tanner prepped very much so for it, as will pretty much everyone, just because of last season. But, Ape, very quiet game. Probably the worst performance we've seen from Ape in quite a long time. But Megalotti just showing why it's the GOAT. I mean, it's such a threat. So good. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not much you can really say. I mean, Megalotti is just very, very hard to deal with. And Tanner just couldn't find a way to deal with it. He had Scarf Reggie, but the Terra Fairy on the Giraffe. Very tough week for Tanner to start off. Mental's already shot, apparently. Making all the... listen, I'm not going to get into the trades. I mean, we've all said what we've said to him, so no point doing it in the video. But, yeah, it's a really good set from both of them. I mean, just really good showing. First and only time they have ever played in Big Juice. They didn't play last season, and this is the only game they play this season, so won't see these two going at it until season 5 potentially. But for an opening game of the season, a very good game. No coach should really be that mad about it, their performance. JC versus Josh. This was I put Josh's team as the best coming out of the draft, and I still do believe he has the best draft, but Hisui and Zorak just had such a good matchup into his team. I mean, just look at his top 2. I mean, the Great Tusk and the Pulp can't really do anything with those 2. And, I think this one just came down to a prep diff. I think Josh being a full physical Pulp, not being mixed with Hydro Pump for the Garg was pretty troll. You kind of need the pump if you want to kill the Garg. The Bandit Tusk was actually I say it's a good bring because it essentially kills Garg, but it doesn't because he lives on 1. But maybe if we just saw a Life Orb Tusk, that way you could click knockoff if you think it's Zorak or something. JC kind of trolled game 1 with his clone. He cloned as a Mantine, which had boots, and then Zorak came out as Mantine and took damage. So, oh shit, I just realized my face cam is covering up the Pokemon's KDs. Hold on. let me go up because these are Tanner's, Katie's, and all that stuff, and then this is that. I guess I'll just put the face cam in the center. I guess. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll just put it right here. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't know where else to put it. I guess I can turn it off, but it's been on already, so you're gonna have to deal with my ugly ass face. But yeah, JC kind of trolled the first illusion, but you know, it's whatever. But yeah, I think Josh not bringing a mixed pult this game was kind of troll. But the eject pack cotton down Eldegoss was insane tech. I mean, that just shuts down Valiant. Granted, JC knew about it going into game 2 and 3, and that's why Valiant didn't really do anything this set 0-1. But yeah, Eldegoss that tech was crazy. That tech was insane. I love that a lot. JC finally getting one over Josh. I mean, last season they were in a division together, and JC went down 0-2 on him. So JC finally getting his win against Josh. Proven that he's off to a good start compared to season 3 already. JC's off to the good one. Last season, week 1, kind of got bozoed by Tanner a bit. This time around, he's off to the good start. So JC showing that he's back. He means business. The Crook putting it down the work at 5-1. Good game from both coaches, but I think Josh just couldn't break through Garg, and Garg just kind of did garganical things, and then Crook kind of came out whenever he could and just got some kills. So not, these are two of the top coaches in the league, so obviously someone's got to lose. It just happened to be Josh this time, but yeah, I think Josh, as he familiarizes himself with some of the threats he's got, I think he'll be fine. But as a word of advice from someone that's used pulp before, mixed is most often better than anything else you'll do, just because it's very hard, because pulp just gets every move under the sun, so it's really hard to deal with pulp. It just is. Him and Valiant are like the best draft mons for a reason. And yeah, I think if you're loading into a set, if you're loading into the showdown to get ready to prep for a game, I think, obviously not every game has to be mixed. Like, I'm not that stupid, but if you even question a mix set, I'm gonna say like 85% of the time it's probably better than like just going full special or full physical. But Holt still had a good week, 4-2, coming out of finals, just losing to me. But yeah, just good game for both coaches. JC showing why everyone hates Garg, the usual. Biff versus Preston now. Biff was diffing Preston. It was ugly, and then Preston caught him lacking with the double leftovers. So, and then Preston almost won game 3. If Preston won game 3, oh lord. But Biff coming out with a really strong week. They were division rivals last season, which actually is funny because these 4 coaches were on the same division last season. Now they play each other week 1. So, played an old division rival from season 3. Kind of just showed that he's ready for this season. I mean, I'm not gonna let his performance tonight ruin what I thought about his season or his week 1 performance, but just a really solid week. The Scarf Gengar's good bring because he knew the Scarf Cortana was a massive threat. And then Rhydon obviously just putting down fucking work. Rhydon was going crazy, but for Preston, Bussy Pex is very hard to deal with as it is. I don't think you need screens with it. Preston, I think every team, I think you just need to make some trades, dog. I mean, I don't know. I just don't like. I like the vision of the team. I like what you're going with. I think you could use some attunement. Obviously, we'll see how it goes, but yeah. Biff, just, if he didn't troll game 2, if he didn't troll prep, he would have won game 2 and been at +11. had 11 differential. So because you kind of fucked yourself, you lost 7 differential points, which kind of feels really bad. But you got the win. You are off to a good start. Week 2. I don't know week 2 Biff. I know week 1 Biff right now. So for week 1 Biff, you're off to a great start. You started last season off with a win against Croc. You need to keep the momentum going. As long as you keep the mental strong, keep the momentum going, I think you'll do fine. But just try not to get behind. If you catch a loss here or there, like you did, obviously you lost to Tanner tonight, but don't let that affect you too much. It's just one game. Obviously, it's a divisional game. That kind of sucks, but 5-1 in division don't sound too bad to me. So I think for both coaches, good week 1 showing. Preston, you probably should have lost game 2, but rules are rules. You almost came back game 3, which is very impressive, but definitely think the team lacks a little bit of just damage. I mean, this is just a full support. This is like basically stall with Cartana. So we'll see. But moving on, my game against Croc. Croc's team is good, but the lack of a traditional weather setter like a Torkoal, a Ninetales, or a Pelipper, or a Politoed, it really showed this week. Because Screentail is always going to be Sunny Day or Rain Dance, and you always know it's probably going to be a Weatherstone or Leftovers. So what do? You trap it in and you waste those turns. Araquanid just trapped in Screentail, and you just waste all of her Sun turns. And then his team is playing without Sun. Scarf Noivern, I outsped his whole team, including Deoxys Speed, so I knew that was a good bring. But Glamora, just didn't really put on that much pressure, but just the passive damage through the rocks and the T-spikes, just picking up so many kills. And that's the beauty about Glamora. You don't necessarily even need to do much with it. You just need to get hit, and then the enemy team is in a bad position for hitting you. So, really good. Gardevoir with the Will-O-Wisp tech was really good for the Brute, because I knew Brute was a massive issue coming into this game. I said he got greedy in my video with the Terra Dark, and to an extent, I kind of still agree with that, because if he was Terra Poison, he would have done more even through the burn, but with his game plan in mind, Terra Dark made a lot of sense, because if he chips my team down just a little bit, he can just sweep me a Sucker Punch, which he was aiming to do, and if I didn't have Will-O-Wisp on Gardevoir or Cinderace, I probably lost this set. But because I had Will-O-Wisp and I can immune the Sucker Punch, he gave me some breathing room. So for Croc, I think definitely a rough week 1, but I think if you just, your prep wasn't bad. I think your prep was actually really good. It's just the small details. Like you said, you almost brought Lumberry. If you did bring Lumberry, this set becomes way different. You might even win it. So, just don't be too mad about it. It's just, it's a rough game. It's a rough week 1 for you. So, you got a big divisional game up this week. Let me pull it up. Oh, it's against Josh. Yeah, you got a big divisional game against Josh. So just make sure you bring your A game, and I got faith that you can do good. Just rough week 1, but I believe in the Croc, man. I believe in the Croc. Chris versus Astador. Sal I don't know. I really don't know how Sal won this. Chris not bringing the low kicks was kind of crazy to me, because it kind of guarantees that Starmie and his own Spectrier can't sweep him. Maybe he wasn't scared about Starmie until maybe it was just like a lack of prep thing. He didn't really see Starmie as a threat, but um, Starmie put in a ton of work this set. The Terraflying Melmetal. Melmetal's debut went crazy. Just being able to eat any one hit from anything and then kind of OHKOing it was just crazy. And I mean, yeah, I mean this is just a very strong showing from Sal. His first game in Big Juice, he's the rookie on the block. Everyone's at least got 2 seasons in them at this point. So for Sal to beat someone like Chris, who just came out of a semifinals game against me, and he did really well. We love to see that. For Chris, he definitely didn't play bad. I think Chris actually played fine, even though I don't necessarily agree with his prep like 100%. The sunny day for Entei wasn't a bad idea. It's like it inadvertently like shut down the Starmie a bit, and it made it so whether he tear it or not on Melmetal, your Sacred Fires can be doing a lot. So I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't even think he got screens up this game with Klefki. Oh no, he did. I think he did once, but then Taurus came in. So unlucky matchup for Klefki this week with the Raging Bull. Not a whole lot you can do there. Maybe don't bring Klefki. But yeah, for Chris, definitely a rough week 1 for him. Definitely wanted to get off on the right start, but you know, definitely not. If a couple turns go differently, he can win this. So I mean, actually muted my mic. Just a rough week 1 for Chris, but for Sal, great showing. Beat a very good coach in the league, and Chris looks promising for him, especially in a matchup where I had no faith that he was winning. Good showing for Sal. So we like that. Starmie doing big things. We like that as well. Nick versus Chase. You know, Nick is, we've been saying this for a full season now, and it's kind of, it's kind of getting a little old at this point, but very much in the learning process. You know, obviously for some people it takes longer to learn the game than others, but yeah, you know, I don't even know how to like debunk this game. I mean, what do you do when Manaphy leads and just clicks Tail Glow? Like, I think Nick, if by middle of the season this season, if we don't start seeing things from Nick, the excuse of him learning the game is out the window, because we've had coaches like Croc coming straight in and he did fine and even made playoffs his first season. We had coaches like Woo, who in his first season in season 2 barely missed playoffs. I think he was 7-7, and last season he also went 7-7. Like, I'm not asking for Nick to be a top coach. I'm not asking that. I'm just asking him to at least show competition. And we're just not seeing it. But yeah, I mean, comparatively to a season 3 season, Nick did play better, but very much so just not up to par with the rest of the league in terms of knowledge and competition and prep. But for Chase, lost one of Nick's 1 wins last season was to you, so proving that you're not gonna lose him again, and off to a strong start with the team. I know that the draft never goes your way, but by having things like the Manaphy and the Dracozolt, they've really did well this game, and I think now that you have this momentum building with your team, you can take this and maybe turn it into a good season. So just, I don't know who you play week 2, but I guess I should pull up the schedule. Fuck it. Season 2 schedule. You play Emnaz, so just have a good showing against Emnaz, whether you win or lose. Just make it competitive, and I'll my stocks in Chase will go up whether you win or lose. Just make it competitive. For Nick, the league is very tough, as you've seen and as you've experienced. If you're not willing to put in the time, it's not gonna be fun for you. I'm not asking you to make this your job or nothing. I'm just saying, if you want to at least have just a slight bit of fun, you gotta get a better just baseline understanding of the game. So obviously it's a new team. When you make big changes, like going into a new season, all the experience you learned from last season with that team is out the window. You got to kind of have to start from scratch, but regardless, you just, you got to learn. Like, you brought Stone Edge on Cleavor. How do you not know about Stone X? Things like that just become very apparent. I really don't want to sound like a dick, but it's the things like that that just you gotta put in a little bit of effort if you want to even compete in this league. So for Nick, just try getting with people. People are always scrimming. People are always trying to get ready for their games. Maybe you just hop in a call once a week for like an hour, maybe just 30 minutes to an hour. Just bounce ideas off with people. That's all you need. Maybe that's all you need, but until you start doing things like that to catch up to pace with everyone, it's gonna be a rough season. Wu versus Tabs. This was Tabs and Wu always have good games. But this one was crazy. I forget. I know Tabs hard trolled game 2. I know it was real bad. I kind of forget what happened since it's been like a week now, but I know game 3 Wu also trolled by letting his Darmanitan get sacked at the beginning of the game, but for Wu, if he could just literally, if he was able to force the Flutter Mane in earlier to force its booster energy, he wins this set so easily with Beedrill. It's not even funny. Wu played so good. He had the Suicune, the Skarmory, and the Wo-Chen for the Dracovish. Obviously, Dracovish still dropped 6 fucking kills, but I think Wu, sometimes you just need to bait Pokemon out. And I think if B killed something with Beedrill, like the one game, he got the Twin Needle boost with Beedrill, and then Tabs had to bring out the Flutter Mane. All you gotta do is switch out into something that can wall it or kill it, like the Wo-Chen or the Suicune. And then Tabs is forced out, and then your Beedrill wins because it can't outspeed you. So it's the small things like that that can get to players in the game. They're not thinking long term, they're thinking very short term at times. Maybe even just bring like Roar on Suicune or Roar on Skarmory just to force it out. You know what I mean? Just second he comes out, roar it out, booster energy's gone, Beedrill wins. So really tough game for Wu. Almost came out on top though. He had really good counters to the Dracovish, even though it still dropped 6 kills. But I really do think the Beedrill could have went crazy here. I mean, it shows it as well as Dracovish. Just ever so slightly fell short of the Flutter Mane sweep at the end. My Queen Roserade, my boy Tabs doing him proud after coming off finals. Even Torn, he went 0-3, but he got the dub. So what's it matter? So Tabs, good start to your season. Games like this, where you're up against someone I would consider like equally at your skill level in Wu, getting games like this are massive for you, because we all say Tabs passive, but it's true. Getting these games against coaches that will probably, obviously Wu's on the opposite side of the league of you, but just getting those wins in your cross-conference games are big, because it means you don't fall behind the people in your division or your conference when it comes to playoff time. So I think this is a very big game for you. Having this win under your belt is looking good. You're up against Sal this week. We'll see how that goes, but I think for both these coaches, just a good showing for the both of them. Tavs actually used the flutter mean correctly for once, so already looking promising for Tavs, and even for Wu, just couple missteps here. There, I mean, Tavs definitely had his mistakes as well. I remember he like power gen the Suicune and let it get another rest off or something. So both these coaches know what they got to work on. It's just a matter of will they moving forward, and I'm excited to see. It's the last game of the week. Okay, it is. And the last game of the week is against Mnez and B. This was a crazy game. Licky Licky the GOAT. Licky Licky is my king. Licky Licky just kind of hard-walled like Mnez's entire team. And B was making some crazy plays. Like game 1 when he poison jetted on the Bulu coming out was crazy. But to be fair, Mnez put up a really, really good fight. Just the Urshifu proved to be a little bit too much in the end. Obviously, there's that tailwind play that, you know, from both coaches. Just considering that both these coaches made semifinals and they both made that mistake, questionable at best, I'll say. But B had a lot of great tech this game. The Ice Beam on Altari to catch Glass Corlac in. Gung shot on Donphan for game 3 to kill the Bulu was really good. That was massive. Licky Licky just a great bring. You know, things like the Registeel Torn and Altaria, while they didn't do a whole lot, just putting on some pressure for the team is always good. For Mnez, you know, you didn't really have the best answer to Urshifu, not that I think most teams will. But I think the defensive, like, healing Bulu was a super good bring this set. The Manectric was a super good bring. I mean, Manectric just kind of went in this game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you could have done entirely differently, if I'm being honest. Obviously, a lot of the plays when it comes down to Urshifu are just prediction based. And it's like you either get the play right or you don't. So, can't really harp on you too much, but, you know, we're all saying regular season Mnez, so I think now that the league has gotten a lot tougher for you, or just for anyone, the competition in the league has just grown so much, and I think that's scary for a coach like Mnez, because while we consider him a top-end coach in the league, you know, regular season where he tends to struggle, and if there's a competition goes up, you might never even see the playoff Mnez that we all know he can reach. So for Mnez, a tough game to lose to be. Seems like every time they play, they like win trade. Mnez won the first time they played season 2, then B beat him, and then Mnez beat him in semifinals, and now B beat him. So maybe the next time Mnez wins, who knows? But tough game for Mnez, but I got faith he'll bounce back. It's just a matter of... I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I got faith in the dog. He plays Chase this week, and I think that's the game where he needs to win if he wants to start getting some momentum going. So that is that for the review and my opinions on the games. Let me get out of here. Oh god, someone made trades. Oh Lord heavens. B has dropped Rapska for Mesprit and Lapras for Jelly. Alright. People are just making trades. Week 1. This is incredible that people are making trades after 1 week. Granted, I was the one who told him that if he was to make trades, those are the trades I would make personally, but crazy that he's making them this early in on the season. You know what I mean? Like, you got one game in with your team. So, don't make me roast you next. Jesus Christ. All right. So for the week, for the week, who do I want to put where? I guess I'll have Discord open on the side so I can see the rankings. So Chase did the best, but he played the worst coach. You know what I mean? I'll do this. We'll do Biff here because I think Preston is good. I mean, he was dominating the first half of last season before he made those trades, so I think Biff had a very good showing. Even though he did troll Game 3 very hard, he still won. And, you know, he lacked the prep to bring double leftovers, but I think, you know, I think beating a coach like Preston that dominantly is very impressive. You know, Preston's never been like a top-end coach by any means, but I think Preston, when he gets moving, can be dangerous. So being able to kind of beat a coach like Preston, kind of like 11 differential, like 11-0, is very impressive. So I think Biff is easily the week 1 winner here. For number 2, I'm gonna put myself. I'm gonna put myself here and then Chase, because I think my game against Croc was harder than Chase's game against what's his face, Nick. So that's really that's really the reason. Otherwise, you could say Chase to 2 or whatever. But just because Chase kind of had a easy week 1, I'll put him at 3. I won't put him any lower than 3 because he still won pretty dominantly. But I'm gonna put that there. Number 4. I'm gonna put JC here. I think JC, and then I'll put all the winners here. JC, we'll do Sal. Who else won their games? B. I'm gonna put Sal over B. Yeah, I'll put Sal over B. And then we had Tabs, and then we had no. I'll explain my reasoning here in a second. Let me cook. Banner. Blue. Who else lost? Croc? Josh? Okay, I'll explain why I put everyone in the order. Sorry, I just had to think for a minute. So, I kind of already explained the top 3. I can explain that, I just went over it. JC, beating the best team in the league coming out of the draft like that. Even like, granted, I think JC had the matchup there, but regardless, beating a coach that he's never beaten before and beating them. He lost game 1, but game 2 and 3 he really brought it back. Impressive. Sal, the newcomer on the block, beating a coach like Chris and doing it with such a terrible matchup, very impressive. I almost put you over JC. Kind of do want to put you over JC, but I think JC's game was harder just because. See, Sal's game was harder because the team diff. Like, Sal's team was just, the matchup was just terrible for him, but JC, You could swap these two. I wouldn't be that mad about it. But I think for now, I'll just have it here. B, I don't think B really did anything special. I think B just had some great predictions, and I think that's kind of what really separated him there, like getting the poison jabs off when he wanted to. Realistically, if B didn't click Sucker Punch in the tailwind, I'd probably put him over Sal, but that one play alone just absolutely brain dead. But these three you can kind of argue about, but I'm pretty set on these three in this order. But I could see you putting B at 4 or Sal at 4 and GC 6 or 5, like, you know what I mean? So these three, I'll do this. Okay, that is just way too dark of a color. Sheesh. That's like, yeah, like one shade darker. There we go. Alright. I'm not gonna do it for everyone. I don't feel like doing all that. Alright. So I think top 3 is like pretty unlock. I think 4 through 6 is pretty unlock, and then I think Noah is like a step above Tabs. Obviously, Tabs had a better differential than Noah coming out of the first week, but I think the big difference for me that is the reason why I'm putting Noah above Tabs is because he got fucking smoked game 1. He got straight embarrassed opening game of the season for of Big Juice. And not only did he make a comeback, he went on to reverse sweep him with Giraffe Rig and then kind of destroy Tanner game 3. So that's the real reason why I'm putting Noah over Tabs, just because I think when you like essentially get 6-0'd like that coming into game 1 can shatter a lot of coaches' mental, but Noah really stuck it out, and I think that's really good for him. Tabs, few questionable plays, but definitely by no means did he play bad. Still got the dub over Wu, and that's all that matters. Tanner, you know, 0 differential game, so obviously of the losers, I think he played the best. Obviously, trades, you know, whatever. We'll get into them, I guess. I don't know if we'll ever get into them in a video. I said what I said. Wu, very much a game that was in your hands. I think if you could just bait out the Flutter Main a little earlier into the set with the beat drill, I think it's a very winnable game for you. But Tabs, knowing that was his win con, played it well, and you just lacked the answers to get it out. So, unlucky for you. Josh, you played a top coach in JC. Finally, you were not playing the depressed JC of last season, whatever the fuck you want to call that. You played a normal JC. You almost beat him. I think if prep just goes a little different with the Dragapult, the game comes a little bit easier for you, whether you win or not. Who knows? But I think as you get better with the team, I don't think there's any issues for you. Naz, Urshifu is for real scary, but I think you can easily make a rebound. Chris, you had such a I really don't know. I don't know how you lost that game, to be honest. Just it was I mean, it's nothing to take away from Sal. He played great, and I think you played good. But just on paper, I don't think Sal's team like ever beats yours. So, granted, you almost won still with the team you brought. So I'm not knocking your prep entirely, but maybe stay in the kitchen a little longer. I don't know. Croc, rough week 1. I don't think you played terribly, but definitely not the showing you wanted. Preston, yes, honestly, probably would have put you at 16th, but you kind of got lucky that Biff trolled, so you're at 15th, and then Nick at 16th. I don't think we got to talk about that. So that's the video. That's week 1 recap. I'll be back in about 2 minutes to do the week 2 predictions. So yeah, I'll see y'all in a little bit.